Morning.
We're in the middle of the mimer over here, discussing the idea of learning Torah with Yiras Shamayim. We had a whole conversation yesterday where we discussed the idea that basically a person could be a very learned Jew, but not necessarily be interested in a relationship with God. And then, not only the Torah doesn't make him closer to God, it's the opposite. The Torah makes him sick. The Torah makes him further from God. That's why one of the scariest lines in the whole Talmud is that the Torah is like a potion. It could be poisonous, and it could be a potion of life.
Elixir.
It could be elixir, right? It could be elixir, and it could be poisonous. Yeah, that's Gemara. The Gemara, I think, Shabbos 88b, right, where it talks about the Torah, and the Gemara over there says that for the people lamay minimba, for the people that take it the right side, for them it's a potion of life, and for people that take it the left side, for them it's poisonous. So it's a very interesting thing that on one hand, like Chassidus always tries to find the positive in everything. When it comes to Torah, Chassidus quotes the Gemara that the Torah could be a very dangerous venture. It could be a very dangerous. Why? Because Torah is God's secrets, as we said, and if you're not interested in the relationship, just to look through someone's personal stuff and someone's personal life, that is not only that it won't make you closer to that person, it would make you further away from that person. It's a certain abuse, and as we said, that's why most of the problems that the Jewish nation had didn't come from simple Jews. Simple Jews were never the issue. Simple Jews were always amazing. It was big rabbis that started a reform movement, tried to destroy the whole Jewish nation, very learned people. The Karoim already in the time of the Talmud. It's like I once met a Jew in the old city. I used to after I got married, I learned in the old city in a kollel over there. So someone comes and asks me. I don't remember the whole conversation. So he said, but I think he said, "Okay, I want to see stuff over here in the old city, but you should know I'm reformed." So he says, "No problem." So I told him, "No problem. You should go visit the Karoi shul. That's the first reform shul, most probably." Yeah.
Here?
What? The
First.
Karaites.
Oh.
So he didn't like it, even though the Karaites were so much more from than a lot of reforms. Reform don't necessarily believe in the Torah being from heaven. They believed in the written Torah, but they didn't believe in the oral Torah, right? The Karaites. And still, almost nothing survived from the Karaites. So that is the idea that the Alter Rebbe is trying to say over here, that you have to start your day with davening. And from the davening, that's the Nohar Yotzim Ben Eden. So the way it works is basically the mimer starts talking about the idea of our forefathers being well diggers. And the Nohar goes out, Mi Eden is from God, Lahashkos Sagan, to water the garden, and from there it goes down into the wells. So we're going to see the Eden is the part of God. That's when we daven. That's when we connect to God. Then it spills over. It goes into the Nar. Goes out from Eden, and it goes into the Gan. What does the Gan refer to? The gardens. The gardens, Gan is numerical values 53. These are the 53 parshas of the Torah, and hints for Torah. So we need to, one thing that we didn't explain yet, we very well explained why you need davening before learning. There's a famous slonim of art, Shmata boya tzilusa. The simple meaning in the Gemara is that learning needs clarity. Tzilusa is clarity, but the word tzilusa sounds like the word tzilota. So in slonim they were even more extreme than Chabad on this whole topic of learning Torah. Only for the right reasons. Chabad actually is a bit more lenient than Slonim in this aspect. So they said, Shemata learning, Boya Tzilusa, needs prayer. When a person doesn't invest in prayer, so what are they basically saying? I'm not interested in a relationship. And by the way, to be honest, it's so much easier to learn than to daven, because to learn, you just have to be intellectually inclined.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are intellectually inclined and don't connect at all. They know the
Exactly.
whole Torah inside out.
Exactly.
I'm the
Exactly.
opposite. It's easier for me to pray than learn. So, yeah, it's per person.
Yeah, it's easier for you to connect in prayer. It's very special.
Very good learning.
Very
Yeah.
special. Good mora. Good mora. Moron.
Good teacher.
Your Skånska accent is trying to get him. Your Skånska accent is translating him. This part of Sweden is a crazy accent. They speak very weird. And they know it.
Speak like proper Swedish people.
But you are having his accent. which
That's
is very
good.
cute.
That's good. Moron. So, where were we up to?
People connect.
Oh, so the reason why for a lot of people it's easier to learn than to connect, because it's easier to be in your brain than be in your heart. Having an open heart demands a certain level of presence. So till now, like in the classes, also yesterday, we mentioned the idea why davening is important. But why can't we just have davening? Why is davening not enough? Why do we need learning too? And the answer for that is that learning has a certain advantage that davening doesn't have. Learning is when it really becomes a part of you. It affects you, it changes you. So, why? Because learning affects the way you think. Or to make it even simpler, davening is you talking to God. Learning is God talking to you. So again, if you're not interested in a relationship and you get him to talk to you and share with you his secrets, that's a major, major issue. That's not healthy. But if you are interested in a relationship, so just having the relationship one-sided, where you're talking to him and you're realizing his existence, but Hashem talking to you, and not only talking to you in a way that it really permeates you. You learn the Tosfos, you learn the Gemara, you learn the Pasuk Chumash, you learn the Rashi, and you internalize it and you understand it and it makes sense and it becomes a part of you. So the advantage of davening is that it's more God. It's like, it sounds like the opposite of what I just said. God, it's us talking to God, but what's more revealed in davening? I see more God. In learning, it's more God talking to me, but the focus is me understanding. So if you only have the me without God, you don't have God. But if you have God himself and it doesn't permeate you, that is a major problem. And therefore, we need both. We need the learning. We need the davening. But right after davening, the Alter Rebbe says it a lot of times, that right after davening, we have to make sure to take that davening and make sure that it takes root. Yeah? That it's not elusive. Yeah? You know the word elusive?
Yeah.
Yeah? The elusive is like, it doesn't fly away. Got it? So let's see this. Let's start V'nor V'zeu Nikra Nor Yotzei Eden. The line that starts with the word B'chol. You come sit over here. I'll to show you your side. It's in the booklet. It's page 10. And those of you at home, it's Chof. Which one? זהו נקרא ונוער יוצא מאידן. זהו. וזהו נקרא ונוער יוצא מאידן. This is what's called the Nahar, the river coming out of Eden. Pirush Eden. What is Eden from Eden? Imakodesh Baruch Hu Nikra Eden. From the Eibush is called Eden. The Nahar. What is the meaning of a river? Drawing down. Pirush when you draw down godliness from above to below through receiving the yoke of heaven and Shachar Zois, this drawing down, Mashke Esagar, that irrigates the garden. What is the garden? He ha-Torah, that is the Torah. Shidal dam shel halacha, that's the 4 cubits of halacha in conjunction instead of the Holy of Holies. Yeah, this is a pretty famous Gemara that the Alter Rebbe is hinting to over here that says from the day that the temple was destroyed, where does God live? In the Torah, in Daled Am Shel Halacha, in the Gemara, in the Shulchan Aruch. Where does God dwell? In the Torah. What?
Everywhere.
Right, but where is he revealed? That's a very good point, actually, what David just said. He said everywhere. Why is this such a good point? Because the same thing is in the temple. So, I don't understand. God was in the temple. When we had a temple, the house is a temple, God is everywhere. What's the answer to that question? If God is everywhere, in a revealed form. In a revealed form. That's the same as like we say, Kodesh HaKadoshim in Kabbalah, your brain is the Holy of Holies. That's the Holy of Holies. So the same idea. Where's our life? Our life is even found in our toenail. Our life is found in our whole body. What's special about the brain? That's where it's revealed. That's where it expresses itself the most. That's the idea of the temple. That's the idea of the Holy of Holies. And that is the idea of Torah nowadays when we don't have a temple. Where is God the most revealed? Where could you connect to God the most? In the Torah. Shadalad Am is where we are to. The Torah is called the Chamber of the King. In the Torah dwells the unity of God. When could you feel God in your Torah? When the person fulfills the idea of the river coming out of Eden in this prayer. And then he learns the shir. Good morning, Boaz. How are you feeling today?
So much.
It
It was like a war all night long.
War?
Yeah.
Where? In Lebanon?
That was my body in the fever.
Yeah. Yeah, fever?
I don't know if I still have it anymore. It feels much better.
Baruch
I
Hashem.
don't think
Baruch Hashem. Very good, very good. Baruch Hashem, you made it. I thought it was a war between the Yetzer Tov and the Yetzer Hara. You know the story with the guy? There's a guy that said that wanted to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then he ended up waking up 10 o'clock. And he arrives, he had a chavrusa made up for 5 o'clock in the morning. He wants to learn Torah for a few hours. Then he comes to the Beis Medrash only at 10. The chavrusa asks him what's going on. So he said, you have no idea what war was going on. So, which war between me and the Yetzer Hara?
5 hours.
The alarm clock went off at 5, and the Yetzer Tov told me, wake up. The Yetzer is waiting for you. In the Beis Medrash, the Yetzer wants you to learn to connect with him. He's waiting for you. Zara said, no, you're not feeling well, you're sick, you're weak, you need some more sleep. And the Yetzer Tov said, no, get out of bed. And the Yetzer Hara said, no, you have to stay in bed. And then he told them, listen, guys, why are you bothering me? Just go to the kitchen, fight over there, leave me alone, and then come back to the conclusion. And they listened to me. They went to the kitchen, they fought it out over there. For 5 hours straight, they were fighting. Who do you think won? At the end, the Yetzer Tov won. I woke up after 5 hours of fighting. The Yetzer Tov won, came and told me, listen, I won, get out of bed.
Wow.
Yetzer Tov always wins in that case, but just matter when.
Yeah. Yeah, the Yetzer Tov is going to always win. Because the ultimate good is going to win.
It was there was no congestion, no cough, no sneezing, just
It's also maybe the change of weather. Yesterday was the first day it wasn't hot.
it was just
Shabbos was still summer.
I took my temperature fever. It was just headaches,
Shabbos was cold.
headaches and body pains.
Yesterday was colder than Shabbos. What?
Just headache and body pains. It's weird. And chills and sweats. Chills, sweats, headache, body pains.
Sounds like Corona.
That's no cough.
Shaking up Corona without cough.
But I'm already back. Look at that, one day I'm already back.
Sounds like Corona.
Continue lesson.
Okay. Avol. So we already have the two levels. We have the level of davening, which is the first thing, and learning, which is the second thing. By the way, what we learn before davening, it's not so simple to learn before davening, right? But the Litvisha, they don't learn before davening. They wake up, and what we call by Chassidim, you roll from the pajamas into the tefillin. Yeah. But Chassidim didn't like that because we want to prepare. So the learning really before davening is a part of the davening. But we have now the learning and the davening. But what happens afterwards? Afterwards, you want to read some insight? Yeah.
We're on page 10.
Still on page. Wow. That's good memory. You remember from yesterday which page we're on?
That's all I did yesterday. It was just Chassidus. I had to go back to I was feeling a little weird yesterday, and I was like, I got to like for down, and I was like, I'm not okay. All right, where are we holding? What line?
Abel, we are on the next line from the bottom. But afterwards, a person has to be involved with this whole thought. In the concepts of the lower world, and he forgets that all of his meditation when he received the yoke of heaven. Is good for it because of the physicality of his body. A beautiful line. This is such a beautiful line, guys. I can't even. This is so poetic. So poetic. This is not regular Hebrew. This is so poetic. Why do we forget about everything that we achieved during davening? Because the physicality of our body. Al miut dashaloi. On top of the small das that we have. Would translate into simple English, guys. We have physicality. Physicality that's why we're prone to externality, to escapism, to what is physicality? Physicality means that I'm not focused on my soul. I'm focused on physicality is not only the physical body, it's my external facade.
All the external desires.
Exactly. Together with the fact that we're not focused enough. Again, I did something that a teacher shouldn't do now. I went right away to the conclusion. I said that's how I think we would translate that into English. But in simple, in Hasidic terminology, what does it mean, mil das? Das means connection. So in davening, you are connected. But if we're not strongly connected, what happens? The next thing that you do, you're involved in the back. So right away, everything you achieved in davening goes out of the window. So really, I should have had like a conversation if I bring it of 2 hours now, and then we will come to the conclusion that the reason why we're not really connected to things, people that have small das, so everything like distracts them. So a minute they're happy, the next minute you can make them like a child. Child is crying, tantruming. You come, someone comes to visit them. I'm happy. The next minute, it's like the shifting is because of lack of strong connection to things. But in simple English, what that means is lack of focus. A person that is a focused person, a person that has the ability to focus, is a person that whatever he does, he's there completely. And then the other things that happen distract him so easily. So that's the words of the Alter Rebbe. So a person learned in the morning and davened, and then when he gets involved in the physical, in the concepts of the world, what happens? He forgets about all of his benefits because of the physicality of his body. Al mil dashloy, with a small das. Das is one of the deepest concepts in Chassidus that needs to be explained very well, but the simple meaning is connection, focus. A focused person is a person that whatever he does is there. He's there. He's connected to it. And this person, because he has a small das, is very distant from the connection that he had during davening. And his service of Hashem when he learned Torah. So how are we meant to survive today? Huh? How are we meant to survive in our connection to God during the day? Mitzvahs. So that's actually what our mimer is going to say. There's Eden. There's the rivers that come out of Eden. So Eden is God, which is davening. The rivers that come out of Eden, that's irrigating the Torah. But then there is the waters going down, seeping through. How do you call it? How do you call it when the water goes down into the wells, into the? How do you say aquaport? How do you call the waters under the ground?
Oh, I don't know.
They're like water deposits.
Yeah, there's water bodies under the ground, right?
Yeah.
That's why when you
You just call deposits. Water deposits.
call it water
Deposits, like where you.
How's it
where you
called?
store stuff.
It's not called aqua.
Aqueducts.
Aqueducts?
No.
Aqua has a special type of
That's not for it.
Okay, I don't remember. So fine. So maybe someone in the comments that listen to this should pick the right word. But that's going to be the mitzvahs. That's you could see where the mimer is going. The mimer is going like this. The mitzvahs are found in the distance. Like you're in the middle of the day and you're busy at work, and suddenly there's a poor person that comes and asks you for some money, or you help someone. That's finding God throughout the day. That's like finding God. So let's use a relationship example. So you're home, and then in the middle of the day, you write a nice WhatsApp. You write a nice WhatsApp to your wife. That's the beauty of spring water. That's why it's so sweet. The spring water went through, I'd say, mechalchel.
You had it for yesterday, didn't you?
No, mechalchel. No, when the water goes through, it gets filtered. It gets filtered through the bedrock. I don't know, not bedrock. Like through
This?
mechalchel. Anyone has Morphix? I don't know. I updated my phone, and Morphix doesn't work on the new version. It was such a good dictionary, Morphix.
Yeah.
Do you still have Morphix? No, I think it doesn't work in the new versions. Mechalchel. Memchet. Oh. Memchet. Lamed. Chet Lamed.
Irrigate?
No. Talking about the process, how does the water get to to the water bodies out there.
We learned
Mem Chet Lamed.
Chet Lamed.
Chet Lamed. To trickle, to percolate, to permeate, to seep, to penetrate, to pervade.
yeah, okay.
Seep, trickle.
Okay.
So the water actually goes from the rivers and seeps through the ground, and then you have to dig in order to find it. That is finding God in your day-to-day life, finding God in the bank. You're in the middle of the bank, and you're so busy, and suddenly, wow, you found water over there. You found a connection in a distant place. That's finding water underground. And that's the sweetest water. That is the sweetest water. Why? Why is that the sweetest water? It goes through a lot of dirt. But what happens when it goes through a lot of dirt? It becomes cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. The deeper the water is, it got filtered more and more and more, and then you have sparkling spring water. The best water is spring water. They bottle it up and they sell it for a lot of money. Must be making millions, right? It's free for them, free, almost nothing. No?
I don't know. I'm not too versed in that market.
No, but I did check once. There was a few articles that I read about it. They basically take water from underground, which is free. They bottle it, and they sell it for millions.
Crazy.
What?
That's crazy.
Yeah, but what's special about it? Because it was found in the distance. So obviously, your main relationship is going to be when you're going to be home with your wife and have a good supper together, and have a good conversation, or maybe a walk. But that WhatsApp during the day, that's the sweetest. Because you're busy, she's busy, and then you just send a heart emoji, thinking about you. Remember you during the day. That's the mitzvahs. That's the digging of the wells. Digging the wells is digging through the dirt and finding God throughout the day. Let's see inside. That's why God gave us the mitzvahs to do them the whole day. Is the concept of the physical mitzvahs. Hey, the concept of physical mitzvahs. Just want to I always like in the classes also to discuss from a historic perspective. Why does Alter Rebbe talk about physical mitzvahs? Physical mitzvahs is something that is, to a certain extent, very problematic. So for a simple person, physical mitzvahs is not simple. He's a physical person. He does physical mitzvahs. But if you realize what Judaism is special about is physical mitzvahs. Other religions, some religions, it's all about belief. In other religions, it's all about chanting. So the whole day they would say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Yeah, it's a lot of chanting. They have 5 mitzvahs that they do. Yeah, they have 5. I think.
Five pillars.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's Islam?
Yeah, Islam. It's 5. I don't know the Christians even have any mitzvah. I don't know how that works. But I don't want to. We're not into comparative religion. But what's exclusive about Judaism is physical mitzvahs. That's why you'll also see in other religions they're not into getting married because they want to shun physicality. So again, for a simple person, physical makes sense. But once you become a tiny bit more philosophical / or theological, the idea of physicality doesn't make any sense. Why in the world would you go for physicality? If I'm trying to connect to God, if I'm trying to connect to spirituality, so tell me to meditate for 15 hours, tell me to, I don't know what, to chant something for 30 hours, tell me to escape physicality. No. No, I want you to do physical mitzvahs. Imagine you have been on God's board of directors, right? You are an advisor to God. And God comes into the meeting and says, okay, I want my people down there. I created some people down there. And I want my people to remember me. And I want my people to want my people to remember me, and I want my people to remember my unity, remember my powers. What would you tell God if you would be on that advisory board? Make them read an article every day, maybe give them a test. You know what God decided? God decided to take all the Jewish values and tell people, write it on a piece of parchment, then roll up that piece of parchment, put it into a leather box, and then put it into the leather box opposite your heart and opposite your brain in order to influence your heart and brain with Jewish values. That's so physical. And for people of philosophy or theology, that is a major, major problem. So I have to be honest with you that even within Judaism, some people didn't really understand it, and they came up with different explanations why God was so into physical mitzvahs. One of the most famous ones was that God wanted also the simple people to have a connection to Him, and therefore, God wanted the lowest common denominator. What is the lowest common denominator? The lowest common denominator is physicality. And to a certain extent, this is going to be a bit dangerous what I'm saying now. I might get kicked out of it. To a certain extent, sometimes spiritual people don't take physical mitzvahs so seriously. That's for the simple people. Really? God cares if my tefillin has 4 corners? Really? God cares if I eat the best hechsher or the second to the best or the third best? No! God is beyond that. Chassidus, on one hand, is very spiritual, but on the other hand, Chassidus explains that the reason why Judaism is so into physicality is not because it's lower and we wanted to, like, the lowest common denominator. Physical mitzvahs come from the highest, and therefore they go down into the lowest. We're going to have to discuss what's the highest and what is the lowest. But that's the water that you find in the wells. Judaism explains that spirituality is just an expression of God. Physicality is touching God Himself, because God is not spiritual. God is beyond spirituality. And God, if you say that God really cares, God doesn't care about the physicality, but He cares if you meditate for 20 hours straight, what are you basically saying? You're also limiting God. God is beyond spirituality and physicality. For God, meditating for a week straight and a pebble on the floor is the same. God is not spiritual. That's a big, big mistake. That a lot of people think that they're going to be spiritual in order to connect to God, and they think that God is spiritual. God is not spiritual. Chapter 38 in Tanya says the following words: not that spirituality is closer to God than physicality. God is beyond spiritual. Why do we have to be spiritual? Because it's also a mitzvah. God wants us to work on the spirituality. But physicality comes from the essence of God. We're going to discuss that. That's the idea that the deepest is found in the most simple. But it's found in the most simple because in the most simple you could find the essence. And that is the idea of the water that you find in the well springs, that it trickled down layers and layers of dirt, layers and layers of sand. But when you find it, it quenches your thirst, because you found the godliness in the furthest out place. And that's called Simcha Shel Mitzvah. We'll discuss that. The idea of Simcha Shel Mitzvah that the Arizal talks about. The Arizal said that all of his levels of spirituality he achieved by being happy with the mitzvah. What is the happiness? We're going to see in this mimer. The happiness is that, I found God. I'm so happy to find you in such a far out place. That's when you turn the mitzvah into a real connection, to be discussed. So next time a poor person comes, a beggar comes over to you, and you want to give him a half a shekel, think, wow, it's a great opportunity. In the middle of the day, sending God a WhatsApp. I love you. Have a beautiful day, everyone. A meaningful davening.